In Washington, members of Congress are reviewing policies on sexual harassment in the wake of a seeming cascade of allegations involving celebrities and some politicians. Our Washington Bureau reporter Samantha-Jo was inside a hearing on Capitol Hill where some say the current system for handling complaints deters victims from coming forward.
Survivors United!
Ongoing revelations of sexual harassment across the country are now making their way to Capitol Hill.
In fact, there are two members of Congress, Republican and Democrat, that have engaged in sexual harassment.
Lawmakers detailed accounts of pervasive inappropriate conduct happening in the halls of Congress during a House hearing.
And the young staffer, as a young woman, went there and was greeted with a member in a towel. It was a male, who then invited her in. At that point, he decided to expose himself.
These harasser propositions, such as, "Are you going to be a good girl?" to perpetrators exposing their genitals, to victims having their private parts grabbed on the House floor.
Congresswoman Jackie Speier knows just how bad the situation is, sharing her own assault story on Twitter earlier this month.
So I know what it's like to keep these things hidden deep down inside.
Now she's leading the charge to streamline the system for handling complaints on Capitol Hill.
The present system may have been okay in the dark ages. It is not appropriate for the 21st century.
The current rules require victims here on Capitol Hill to submit to mediation and counseling before they file a complaint with the Office of Compliance. It's a process that could stretch on for months while they remain at work with the alleged perpetrator.
How do we expedite that process to make sure that we're protecting those victims?
Congressman Mark Walker, a member of the committee, says congressional members should be personally liable for sexual harassment settlements. As of now, U.S. taxpayers are on the hook. The confidential payments come out of a special U.S. Treasury fund.
These settlements should be made, not only be paid for by the member, but they should also be made public.
The Senate last week approved a resolution instituting mandatory harassment training for members and aides. The House is expected to follow suit.
There is zero accountability and zero transparency.
Speier is currently drafting a bill to reform the complaint filing process. New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand is heading up that effort in the Senate. Both lawmakers have yet to draw GOP co-sponsors for the legislation, expected to be formally introduced later this week. In Washington, Samantha-Jo, New York 1.